So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our latest virtual update. I can hear a few people still joining, so I'll just run through a couple of housekeeping points. So just to introduce myself, I'm Victoria Allen, Head of Marketing at Ascertia, and today I'm going to be joined by Mike Hathaway, our Chief Product Officer. So in today's session, Mike's going to be talking you through our technical update, and that's going to focus on recent changes to our product releases and support lifecycle. There will also be the opportunity for questions at the end of the session. So just so you're aware, we've booked in an hour, but we anticipate that the webinar should last around 30 minutes, and then we'll have some time for questions. As you can see at the top of Teams, there's a Q&A button, so please post your questions in that chat as we go through the session, and then we'll answer as many as we possibly can at the end. And also, just so you know, the session is being recorded and will be emailed to you after the event, and it will also be posted on our YouTube channel in the coming weeks. I think there's still a few more people joining, Mike, but I'm very happy to hand over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Victoria, and welcome everyone. Good to see so many people are keen, and good to see so many people were joining ahead of the hour. So kudos to you guys for the keenness there, which is fantastic. So if I haven't spoken to you before, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or hello if you're watching on the record. I'm the Chief Product Officer for Ascertia, so my responsibility includes our product roadmap, product strategy, product direction, and product marketing, etc. So as Victoria says, in this session, we're going to talk through the recent changes to the Ascertia product lifecycle, some recent product roadmap items, so essentially big items that we've been working on in Q1, and then a bit of a look forward into the remainder of 2024. If anybody does have any questions, as Victoria said, please post them in the Q&A for Teams, and we'll do our best to get to them at the end of the session. But without further ado, let's get started. So the first section of the presentation will cover our product lifecycle. So I can see that we've got some long-standing customers and partners that have joined today's session. Some will be new, so some of you might not necessarily have seen the recent update that we provided on this front. So up until today, I mean, Ascertia is a mature company. We've been around for a little while now, but our old product lifecycle kind of provided customers with coverage and support for products for a 2-year period. So approximately every quarter, we would provide a major or a minor release that we would provide support for a 2-year window, which gives us great product coverage. We were supporting products, as you can see on this slide, back to ADSS Server 6.9, and providing incremental patch releases for every single version that we'd released and offered support for. And as you can see, this kind of gives us very broad support for 6 versions of the product. One of the downsides to this, as we found for customers and partners, was that if a new feature or a bug was discovered, say over here in ADSS Server 8.1, and I'll use ADSS Server as the example as opposed to the other products, we would end up having to patch or add the feature into the current version, 8.1 in this example, but then backport it into 8.0, and so on and so forth. So it meant that not every single customer and partner got the feature, got the bug fix, or got the security enhancement for every single version simultaneously. These things do take time to build, test, and then distribute. So we wanted to make sure that we were delivering best value for our customers, the best service for our customers, and the best experience. And the net result of kind of the change that we made for us is we were able to streamline some of our internal processes. And by changing this process, it brought us in line with a lot of the larger players out there. So if you're consuming products from a variety of vendors, the product lifecycle begins to look very similar. There are some extreme examples of vendors providing 10 and 20 year support. We're not in that ballpark, but we wanted to make life easier for some of you guys to consume our products. The other result of a model like this one, the old life cycle, is if we're releasing major and minor versions every 3 months with a shelf life of 2 years, and you're a certified TSP or you need to use a certified product, you're kind of isolated here on this version, say ADSS Server 7.1, and all the while the product line is marching forward very quickly, and you have to wait to your next audit cycle to pick up the upgrade. So with all of these things in mind, we kind of look to what our customers do with our products, how they're deployed, how they're patched, how we want to support and maintain them, and obviously industry best practice, which led us to make this amendment. So we introduced a 5-year product lifecycle. What this gives us is from point of product release, 3 years of general availability, so years 1 through 3, as you can see on this slide. And then optionally, based upon certain product and criteria, is providing a 2-year end of maintenance support. So 1 and 2 years, year 4 and 5, essentially, before a product reaches complete end of life and it is no longer patched, no longer made available. So during the first 2 years of general availability, customers with active support and maintenance agreements with us, they get to obviously log support cases, talk to our support and customer success team, gain access to regular software releases, log enhancement requests, and obviously access security releases as and when we need to release them, which is great. And that's part and parcel to what we do every day now, no real substantial change. At the end of year 2, beginning of year 3, we provide the next major release. So we'll release the new version of the product in question. And at that same point, we'll provide an end of support announcement for the previous release. So that will be giving customers 12 months of general availability to do their upgrade or their migration from the previous version to the new version. During that final year of general availability, between the end of support announcement and the end of official support, again, customers and partners will be able to log support cases, talk to our support team, talk to customer success. We'll provide access to regular releases and obviously security releases, but we will drop enhancement requests. So no new enhancement request will be created for the product. Any enhancement request logged will be pushed into the version that replaced this version in this case. And then finally, when a product enters end of maintenance support and a customer is eligible and they sign up to 1 or a full 2 years of end of maintenance support, that will entitle you to access our support teams. You'll get access to security releases because we want to make sure that products remain secure for the remainder of their shelf life. And during end of maintenance support, we'll provide software diagnostic patches for P1 and P2 issues only. So as you can see, a bit of a shift in how we've previously supported products, but this is, as I say, in line with the feedback which we've received from you, our important customers and partners, but also looking to industry software providers that provide similar products to Ascertia. So as you'll see, the switch from supporting and maintaining 6 products enables us to really focus down on delivering what we need to for our customers. So in this instance, you'll see we're now able to provide a 5-year support lifecycle for 3 versions as opposed to 6, reducing the number of patches that we have to produce, reducing the number of versions that customers need to migrate between if they're performing and running through upgrades and migrations, and gives more of a smoother journey in terms of a customer or partner that has to run and operate a software product in a certified environment. There's fewer hoops that you have to jump through, and you get longer for the product to run in an operational environment. As part of the regular release cycle, we'll be providing upgrades to the major versions of our software. So we'll move away from doing quarterly dot releases, and in the 5-year product lifecycle, we're introducing what's called a regular release. And the likes of Oracle and Microsoft and a few others have similar naming conventions, but we're choosing the term regular release because we want to increase the cadence of which we release updates to our software products. So in this instance, we've got a version 9 product moving to a version 10. During the version 9 lifetime, you'll see here from point of release in this case February 24, there's been 31 regular releases up from Feb 24 up until Feb 26. The plan here is to be able to enable our software development team to be able to deliver features at a much faster pace than we previously were able to. So up until this point, we've been delivering features, small features in patches, small incremental updates and bug fixes, and then larger software patches in quarterly releases. And whilst that's great, it's a good cadence. We want it to be even more ambitious, and the task here is to deliver features far more frequently. So if we've got a feature or a number of features that can be grouped into a regular release and delivered to the customer base in 3, 4 weeks, and they're ready, QA tested, documented, ready to go, they'll be made available. If we have 2 features that we feel are important to go to market and to our customer base, great, those will be developed, QA, documented, released. So this gives us the ability to go super fast where we need to be able to deliver faster route to market for products, and to be able to provide, more importantly, our customers with higher satisfaction and a more regular release cadence. We're not mandating that anybody goes to a particular release unless they absolutely have to. So if you've installed version 9 and you've chosen your own upgrade maintenance cycle, you're on version 9.02 and 9.012 is available, not a problem. You can upgrade at the pace which suits you. I guess the only exception to that would be if, say, 9.013 was released and it contained a fix for a critical bug or a critical security issue, then that would be a mandatory upgrade that we would request that all customers move to as and when they can in their life cycle. The aim of the game here is to deliver secure, trustworthy solutions, and if we have a CVE that we need to deal with, or we have a secure software defect that we need to deal with, we'll notify everybody, and that will be a mandatory release for you. So just a few things to bear in mind there. And I think nothing that I'm saying here should be out of the ordinary for anybody that's using commercial software products. This is standard practice for most vendors. So this gives us faster time to market, longer periods of support for our products, for people to be able to maintain versions within data centers, within trust service providers, and we provide that all important end of maintenance support for products that are eligible. So we introduced this new life cycle at the end of last year. So the announcement went out to customers and partners mid to late November. So this has been in effect for a little while now. So the versions in the slide here are kind of the base versions which this starts from. So with effect immediately, or I should say November last year, all previous versions of supported products are now currently in end of life. So between November 23 and November 24, that's your opportunity to upgrade from any supported version that you were previously operating, which effectively is ADSS Server 6.9 all the way to 8.2. If you're operating those software versions, your aim is to get to ADSS Server 8.3.1, where regular releases will kick in. 8.3.1 has the 5-year product lifecycle. Similarly, anything prior to ADSS Server 8.6, so that in my mind, I think is, SigningHub 8.0 to 8.5. All of those products are now in their end of life phase, and customers should be planning to get to 8.6 as soon as possible. And obviously you can see on the right hand side of the slide, we're anticipating the next release of SigningHub to be towards the end of this year. And similarly for WebRA, 2.9 is where the 5-year product lifecycle kicks in, and customers on any older version from, I think it's 2.2 to 2.8 should be planning their upgrades to get to 2.9 to be in line with this new software release cycle. I guess the only exception to this rule will be anyone that is operating the ADSS Server SAM appliance, this Common Criteria Certified QSCD. Common Criteria itself has its own 5-year life cycle. So those certified versions exist alongside this new life cycle. As with always with our customers, Common Criteria certification is a baseline of trustworthiness that the labs certify the product at. We do provide bug fixes and security releases to certified products, so the SAM appliance and the PKI server, and it is in conjunction with conversations with auditors of these audited systems that determine whether or not a software patch should be applied. We all recognize that once a product is certified, yes, there is a fixed snapshot of trustworthiness, but if you have a 0-day CVE that you need to address, yes, we will produce a patch. You can apply the patch to maintain a trustworthy system, but obviously, in conjunction and balancing, act with an audited system. So always consult auditors of these environments where you need to. So that concludes the section on the update to the product lifecycle. Again, if you have any questions, please just use the Q&A function, and we'll get to any of these at the end of today's session. We'll now shift across to a bit of an update on what we've been doing with the software products. So this section covers our three strategic products, so ADSS Server, ADSS WebRA Server, and SigningHub, all respectively. And we'll kick off with changes and updates to ADSS WebRA Server, which is our onboarding tool for enabling the issuance of keys and certificates to people, devices, things, applications. So the latest serious addition to the product is in support of our user and device identity lifecycle management story. So as people will be aware, we support SCEP, CMP, EST, ACME, and Windows native enrollment, as well as virtual ID, virtual CSP, and TLS certificate issuance using PKCS 10. The latest addition is support for the Microsoft endpoint management solution, Microsoft Intune, which is, if any of you are aware, mobile device management, endpoint management that provides the ability to centralize policy, application, and device delivery and management, as well as the all-important identity management piece. So WebRA can be integrated with Microsoft Intune using the Microsoft's SCEP integration. Once integrated, Intune can then be used to provision user, device, or user and device digital identities, which will enable you to perform secure email, wireless network access, or even VPN authentication using an identity provision to the mobile device or laptop in this case. So you can leverage the Microsoft Intune My Company ID portal. It's an app that you would install on your endpoint. Gives you a nice portal where users can perform an enrollment. They can see applications that have been enabled for them by administrator, and importantly, enforce policy over the endpoint, which of all things will include the enrollment of a digital identity for the person, device, or in some cases both. So once you're enrolled, you can provide a secure working place for end users to bring their own device, use a corporate device. You can do remote wipe, but more importantly, manage the user's digital identity on the endpoint. And by virtue of the broad support for the Microsoft Intune platform, that covers Windows, Mac OS X, Android, and iOS. Additionally, we've done some work around TLS certificate management. So in addition to supporting ACME, we now support the ARI extension or ARI capability. So this helps to avoid certificate renewal spikes, helps load certificate renewals across a given system, and gives you a means of centrally managing policy for certificate renewals for the ACME client and certbot. So anyone operating a TLS issuing CA will be wanting to take advantage of this feature. In addition, we've also added the certificate authority authorization acknowledgement. So this is a DNS entry where a organization can say from a DNS standpoint which CAs to authorize and issue TLS certificates for them. So this is verified at point of issuance, at point of renewal, and helps reduce the chance of a TLS certificate being misissued by the wrong CA. So that's a new addition for WebRA. We've also added support for OpenID Connect. This is one of probably the most broadest authentication and onboarding mechanisms that any of our products support. So if you have a authentication provider that you're leveraging where you want to onboard a user into WebRA to get an ADSS server issued credential and ultimately a SigningHub account, not a problem. Enable OpenID for the WebRA service plan, and when a user authenticates, WebRA will talk to the OpenID server, bring back the OpenID Connect claims, and be able to automatically populate the vetting form, the certificate enrollment form, and smooth and round any edges around certificate onboarding. So this is meant to completely streamline the onboarding process, which is great if you're issuing credentials and there's a national IDP, you're using Azure Active Directory, OpenID Connect is part of the ADFS suite. So we're no longer having to build point-by-point integrations for every single business application on the face of the planet. OpenID Connect really reopens the door in terms of integrations for us. And then in concert with us performing regular product updates, anyone who's familiar with the installation of any of our products will kind of be familiar with the way they work. Download and unpack a zip file, stop the product, take your backup, and then override the files manually. That's good to a point, but seriously, we had to address that one to reduce issues around file copy and obviously human error. We all do make mistakes. So now there's a nice, easy to run regular release installer that we ship with all the products that gives you the ability to take a backup of the current product, effectively a rollback checkpoint, install the product, which will completely eliminate or help to reduce human error. We're not going to say that operators don't make mistakes, because these things do happen in the IT world, but the regular release installer is there to smooth any of the edges that you would have previously found. Switching across to ADSS server, ADSS introduces or continues to build upon the Ascertia Unity console. So Ascertia Unity is Ascertia providing a unified product UI and UX across all of our products. This isn't being limited to ADSS server. So if you haven't already seen, we've started to build, I think for the last 6 to 9 months now, the new Unity console that you see on the right-hand side, which is a completely refreshed, remodeled look and feel for ADSS server. Some of you will be familiar with the baby blue that we've had historically. That exists side by side with this as our classic console. But we've introduced this in the utility modules, reporting, the CA module, OCSP, and in Q1 of this year, we introduced support for this in the RAS and SAM modules. So anyone who's not yet seen this will have in the top right-hand corner, if you click on the 3 dots, sitting alongside help and view licensing, you've now got the ability to switch to the Unity console, where you will now see the new look and feel that you see on the slide here. New features are being added to the Unity console only. So if you have an enhancement request with us that requires a UI change, it'll appear in the Unity console, not in the classic console. And the added benefit of the Unity console gives us a REST API for management. So if you want to call ADSS server programmatically, the later releases and the Unity console and Unity API is where you should be targeting. So this doesn't cover all of the modules at the moment. Things like the TSA, SCVP, and a number of others have yet to be converted, but don't worry. If you click on the ADSS services link here, you'll see a drop down of all of the services appear, and if you happen to select a service that hasn't yet been converted, your users will get a nice warm message indicating that this is available only in the classic console, and there's a nice friendly link. So not too jarring of an experience. Once we've completed the conversion, there'll be a point in time where the classic console will be retired and withdrawn. So plenty of time for everyone to migrate their instances, migrate their documentation, etc., etc. But this is a way more intuitive user interface of products, and will be in line with WebRA Server and SigningHub as those all evolve side by side. ADSS server is also receiving, at the end of the first quarter of this year, in the March-April timeframe, we're enhancing to deliver or continue our journey with the Cloud Signature Consortium. So CSC2 was created and was made available March last year. And so we've been kind of working out where we fit this into our schedule. So we're going to be delivering on that this year. I won't go into all the bits and the bytes of what CSC2 brings to the party, but some of the highlights, it adds support for full document as well as hash signing. So previously, CSC only really dealt with hash signatures. CSC2 gives you the ability to send a full document and or a full hash to the CSC server, where a credential digital identity can be created by the CSC server based upon an OID connect or an IDP authentication, letting you create a credential for the signing operation to take place. So that's sort of makes the interaction with the CSC server pretty efficient, but also gives you the ability to leverage one-time digital signatures, which is something that CSC 1 didn't handle, but we were able to cater for in particular flows. CSC2 explicitly adds support for one-time signatures, as well as making provision for electronic seals, which is great. One thing that CSC does note in the standard currently, which I don't believe was there previously, there is the note that says that CSC isn't designed for and geared up for currently the onboarding flows, but it does make a nod to perhaps supporting that in the future. So Ascertia and Infocert are members of the Cloud Signature Consortium, so we're inputting where we need to, and obviously keeping a close eye on that, because standardization for business applications, the onboarding of digital certificates to service the signing use case is super important. So if all of this can be standardized, it makes life as a software vendor a lot easier, but it also makes lives of our customers and our partners easier too. We all want to have fully interoperable products where possible in the marketplace. And of course, because ADSS Server needs to support this new regular release cycle, it too, like WebRA, has a regular release installer. So the simplification of applying software releases, taking backups, giving you the ability to roll forward, roll back where you need to. Super, super important for every one of those regular releases. On the SigningHub side, again, moving forward with what we've been delivering in Q1. So we've got a lot of requests around enhancement requests, I should say, sorry, around reporting improvements. So we're not, we don't produce reporting products. We have reporting modules, and we acknowledge the fact that we're providing good enough monitoring and reporting. But customers, partners, there's always some kind of report that they want that we don't have in our kit bag. And instead of having the SigningHub team, whose specialism is really workflow and digital signatures, focus on reporting, what we've done is we tasked the team with integrating with Microsoft Power BI. In this instance, it's Cloud Edition first. Desktop/Server Edition will come later. But Power BI provides you with the ability to gain real insights into your SigningHub deployment without relying on Ascertia creating the reports for you. So if you subscribe to Power BI, connect it to your SigningHub repository, you can then slice and dice the information within your SigningHub repository however you want. And you can publish those reports into each of the SigningHub enterprises. So if you're a trust service provider, creating those for customer consumption, or if you're an enterprise customer, creating reports for each of your divisions to say how SigningHub is being consumed. So you can then demonstrate real ROI based upon the usage. So we're no longer the bottleneck for creating reports. This 100% puts report creation in the hands of the customer and the partner, so you can really see and leverage the return on investment for the SigningHub platform. SigningHub also ventures into the territory of collaboration. So we're not building a full-on collaboration tool. There's plenty of specialist tools out there, Microsoft Teams being one of them. But we do want to take SigningHub in the direction of document management. And we've kind of been doing this in slow phases, and you'll see that as the product continues to evolve. First iteration of that is document commenting. So we've got workflow commenting already built out in the product. What this does is this lets you, a bit like when you're providing comments to an Office document, select where in the document you want to place your comment, address everybody, address an individual, have private comments backwards and forwards with individuals. So if you're negotiating a contract, if you're creating a document for the first time and you've got your first cut, you can send it out to be signed. But if someone wants to reject it, you can provide more meaningful comments and commentary dialogue back to the document owner or all of the collaborators within the workflow. So this makes it this is our first step on the path of document editing and document management. Commenting is the first phase in that journey. And then finally for Q1, we've introduced HashiCorp integration. So HashiCorp, as many of those will be aware, is a secrets management tool commonly used for password secrets management. So symmetric key management type of operations. So for any connector within the SigningHub system where you've got a key and a secret, or a client ID and a secret, or a configuration being managed, there will be a HashiCorp connector whereby you can store the credentials, store the client ID, client secret for a given connector. So this helps with centralizing security and secret support, or secrets management, moreover, for the SigningHub product. And this will protect any of the connectors in the system. So the SQL Server, SMTP connectors, Azure, ADSS server, the Stripe billing, anywhere where you've got a client identifier and a secret you need to manage, those can then be stored across in HashiCorp. Of course, if you update the secret in HashiCorp, you will then have to come back and update the SigningHub instance, because there isn't a means for HashiCorp to communicate that change to the SigningHub platform. But the centralized secrets management is there should you need to leverage it. Again, if you have any questions on any of the product features we've talked about, please put them in the Q&A, and we'll endeavour to get to them at the end of the call. So we'll take a little bit of a look forwards in gazing into the crystal ball of what's coming in 2024. Myself and the product owners and the business get together to review all of the enhancement requests that come from you, our beloved customers and our beloved partners, to help us curate the roadmap and direction for the products, as well as looking at what the industry is doing, what our competitors are doing. We have to keep tabs on the ever-moving landscape out there. So we break our product roadmap down into themes. I'm not going to go into a lengthy calendarized debate here. We don't have the time, unfortunately, in today's session, and we can get into that into future sessions. But product evolution breaks down into 5 real major categories for us. So automation and DevOps enablement. So this is products being able to be delivered faster and more slicker. So you've seen from the changes to the product lifecycle, regular releases, we're stepping in, we're hopefully taking the step in the right direction to be able to give you guys products and product features at a much faster pace. We see hundreds of enhancement requests every single year. In fact, SigningHub outstrips all of the other products. So what we're doing here is bringing products to market faster, but also looking at how we can package them to deliver a faster route to market. So things like containerization, automation, product integration. Integrating the issuance of a credential and lifecycle management into an external service platform, being able to integrate the signing process into business applications. As good as our UI is, we continue to evolve it. Business users will want to stay within the confines of their own business application. So SharePoint and Salesforce are obviously 2 integrations that we currently have. We'll be working on others like Microsoft Teams, Google G Suite, the list goes on. From an operation and performance standpoint, this is, again, third-party updates, product simplification, making sure that products are easy for you to install, and more importantly, for your operators to manage and for your end users to interact with. We're a security company, so standards and certification are one of the most important things, if not the most important thing for us to be able to keep our eye on. So this is common criteria certifications, adherence with ISO standards, ETSI standards, making sure that we deliver post-quantum cryptography once the NIST standardization process is finished, and ensuring that our products are accessible, in particularly the end user-facing applications like the SigningHub user portal and the WebRA end user portal. Ticking all those boxes is of paramount importance to us as a software vendor. So we have to keep an eye on the evolving landscape that is the standardization process, and certify products as and when we need to make sure that we're deemed by third-party labs and independent assessors as being trustworthy for the use case. Innovation and new use cases, the products need to evolve. So this is moving into areas where the product hasn't previously been used. So things like code signing, secure email, pre and post issuance certificate linting, making sure that Ascertia tools and platforms evolve with the ever evolving landscape. The whole industry is talking about PQC and the IDAS too. So that means for us, we have to keep an eye on those standards to ensure that ADSS server, WebRA, and SigningHub can all interoperate with the EU digital identity wallet once those standards have been finalized. So making sure that we're front and center to those use cases and relevant when people start to roll them out and need them to be integrated. And then finally, feature and management updates, making sure that we receive and execute on the client enhancements that you guys are lobbying to us. As I said earlier, we get hundreds of these things every single year. We can't accept all of them. Unfortunately, we do have a limited resource pool. Our R&D team works as hard as they possibly can, but once we've accepted enhancement requests, making sure that it's delivered in a timely manner. Sometimes we have to adjust our plans, and I have the lovely disclaimer at the beginning of our roadmap. But making sure that we do keep pace with what our customers are asking for, because you guys have some wonderful ideas that help shape the future of the product. Someone can give us enhancement requests that is relevant to a use case or a business opportunity that they're working on, but with the broader view of what all of our customers are doing, we can say, hey, that's really cool. That can be used over here in this use case, that use case, and the other use case. So it's super important to keep those being fed into us. Us being able to review the user experience and the user interface, that is part and parcel to regular product evolution. We've got some exciting things happening this year that we've talked to some of you about. So hopefully towards the end of this year, you'll start to see some change. The Ascertia Unity project, where the unification of the user interfaces and user experience, the user journey, that's all beginning to come together. And the ability to provide the all-important reporting. So Power BI integration for SigningHub, certificate inventory management inside of ADSS server and WebRA service on our agendas as well. So that's a bit of a snapshot, kind of being respectful of the time. Happy to take any questions, Victoria, if they've come in via the Q&A. So open the floor up for questions. If you haven't already done so, tap the Q&A button and provide your question, and we'll endeavour to answer them as quickly as we can.
Yeah, Mike, a few questions have come in. So we'll start with the first one, which is, I think you've already answered this, but if you want to add anything to it. So when is the new product lifecycle coming into effect? Did you say November 23 that it came into effect?
That's right. So yeah, we kicked this off last year. So all customers, partners should have received a communication from, in fact, it came from my email address because I got the out of office replies. But yeah, in November last year. So between November 23 and November 24, that's when the older versions of our products went into that all important end of life phase. So yeah, the new product life cycle started in November last year.
Okay, perfect. And another question has come in, and that is, how is testing and quality assurance going to be maintained with more regular releases?
It's a great question. We do endeavour to make sure that everything is thoroughly tested at every step of the way. And as part of the plans that the R&D team put together, we want to be aggressive with our releases, but we do want to make sure that test rigor and test and test and test, and dare I say test again, is part and parcel to that. So when we've got a 4-week release cycle that we're planning for, a good portion of that is taken up with making sure that we fully document what's going on for the release, and that it's being properly tested and QA'd. And our professional services team, our customer success team, even I get my hands on products to make sure that the UI, the UX, the feature functions as it's supposed to. I'm going to put my hands up and say no software vendor is 100% perfect. So with the best intentions, software does unfortunately make its way out with a bug or two or a crinkle or two. And we do appreciate everyone's patience when that does happen. Every single one of our customers is great at providing us with feedback. So if there's an enhancement request that you've logged, the task of the team is, before we even start writing the code, is to confirm the use case back with whoever it was that requested the enhancement, to make sure that we're all on the same page, to ensure that when R&D builds something, it comes back as you asked for it. So I know that we've historically had a few crinkles, but we do appreciate the feedback, and we do endeavour to make sure that testing is carried out at every step of the way.
Great, thanks, Mike. We've had a couple more, so if you're ready for another one.
Sure.
Are there any plans for the new installer shipped with products to support CLI installation for integration with automation and DevOps stacks?
That's a great question. At the moment, the first cut provides you with a graphical-based installer. Our base products all support. Actually, no, I'm going to back up and correct myself. We do need to make changes on a couple of the products. So ADSS Server has headless installation, so you can do scripted unattended installers. SigningHub currently doesn't, nor does WebRA. So we do need to make a bit of a course correction and make sure that does happen, and we will need to flow that through into our installer. So great question. Current answer is no, they do not. We will be needing to look at that in the future to support the automation use case. We're going to be looking and adopting containerization support across the piece. So at the moment, ADSS Server can support a basic container. We need to do a little bit of work around hardware security module support, because it's not that straightforward for a trust services product. But absolutely, we need to take that into account. So where we get full CI/CD across the board with software deployment and on automation. So things like Ansible scripting to do your configuration upgrade will definitely something we'll be aiming for.
Great, thank you very much, Mike. And one final question here. Is there already an enhancement on the Power Automate connector? And is the SharePoint connector SPFX compatible? Because in July 2024, it will be EOL.
So the first part of that was what? Sorry, there was two
Is there
two
already,
integrations there.
is there already an enhancement on the Power Automate connector?
Okay, yep. So Power Automate, we had one. We kind of had some changes go on in the development team that looks after integration. So it is in the catalog, or the backlog, I should say, to resurrect it. In front of it sits quite a few. So right now the team are finishing off an integration with Cooper, who is a contract lifecycle management platform. They're working immediately after that on Microsoft Teams, and I forget the priority order, but that will be covered off. I think Microsoft CLM was another one that we'd been requested, so it is in the backlog. Yes, I don't have the schedule in front of me, unfortunately, to comment on when that would be worked on. But Microsoft Teams is by a country mile the most asked for, so that's top priority and will be worked on next. And then the question about SharePoint. Yep, the team are well aware of the change to the Microsoft framework. They're at the moment doing the R&D around what it will take to update the connector. The word from Microsoft, and unfortunately, Microsoft give you very, very little notice around some of these changes. So if you've got a new integration that you're working on, you've got zero chance of getting it onto the Microsoft Store unless it uses the new framework. Existing integrations, like the SharePoint one we currently have, will remain there and will remain until we get the new framework into the product. So team working on that at the moment. I don't know, Victor, if we've captured who that request came from. We'll just make sure that we get back to you with the roadmap dates, because I forgive me, I don't have them in front of me.
Yeah, we know who it's come from, so we can go back to them directly and make sure we
Perfect.
do.
Perfect, thank you.
Another question as well. Do amendments to an enhancement request get treated as a new enhancement request?
I think it depends on where that enhancement is. I mean, if effectively an enhancement request is coming, we've agreed a spec, and the team have started work on it, then something by way of an amendment will more than likely be treated as a new one, because the team will have already started work on an agreed spec. So yeah, unfortunately, if something is a certain percentage of the way through, then it's very difficult to make a course correction, because release for us is predetermined by the number of or the amount of effort required. So if we say we've got 10 enhancements, they're going to take us 10 weeks. We've kind of committed dates to a lot of the customers that have asked for those requests. That kind of locks you in a little bit. So if an amendment comes in that makes that 10 weeks 12 weeks, kind of you need to take that into account with everybody you've communicated dates to. So sometimes they do move. Yes, it could be that we underestimated how much work was needed. It could be that we had to down tools and work on a 0-day CVE or a PT1 for a customer. So there's a few criteria whereby something can move, but if it's substantial change, then yeah, we do end up having to treat it as a bit of a new enhancement, unfortunately.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mike, for all those great answers to those questions, and some brilliant
Sure.
questions there.
Yep, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's everything, all the questions that have come through. So you happy to leave it there, or is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you for all the questions. If there's something that we didn't get to that you think of afterwards, or you just want to strike up a conversation about something you've seen in the slide deck, please, feel free to reach out to your customer management team or your customer success manager. I get involved, as many of you will already know, with customer meetings directly. We can do something via Teams, face to face, just depends on what the schedules are like. But definitely, if you've got something that you want to clarify, please reach out to the team. We'll be more than happy to help. So thank you again for attending.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just before I close today's session, I just wanted to remind everybody just to visit the Ascertia community, because that's where you'll find all the latest sales, marketing and training resources. And if you don't have access, just remember you can contact your account team and they'll be able to help you. Otherwise, if you email marketing@ascertia.com, I can always make sure it's passed on. And then just a little plug, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, to check out the Ascertia and SigningHub blogs and the Ascertia YouTube channel as well. There's some great content that's just gone onto there, all about hot topics, including like EIDAS 2. There's lots around that, and digital trust. And you may remember our company event that we did in September last year. We've got some new partner videos from that event, and we've also got the officials highlights videos. So if you want to have a watch, feel free, please do. And if you have any questions, or if you want to partake in a joint marketing initiative, please do contact me. If you just email marketing@ascertia.com, I'll come straight back to you. And I think finally, it's just to say thank you so much for joining today. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us, and we hope you find the session useful, and we'll share the recording shortly. So I'll close the session now. So once again, thank you.